start recording, and let's go back to our programming languages. And so let's talk about the seventh last homework. So I guess I'll add the section on Docker deployment to make things more interesting. Let's see if any of these. Okay, so user interface, right. Now, right, and so again, so you choose your stack, right? Again, optionally, let me edit this, and I will add, right, so, on Docker deployment. So, Docker compose up, right? Yeah, Docker compose up. Yeah. So idea is that, right? No. Right. So this will be something new. Instructions on running your web application in a Docker container. Ideally, it would be zip file that can be then unzip zip file or Git repository, which then can be called with Docker compose up from the parent folder, from the root folder of the project. Right. So that would be ideally, right? All right. So alternative, right? So alternative, since maybe somebody doesn't want to do it, alternative addition to Docker deployment provide an address, have the service running, have the service running somewhere, right? Somewhere with public IP address, Yeah, again. All right. So, right. On the worst case scenario, let's see what other alternatives could we provide, because again, it's going to be pretty tough for me to check. There will be difference. You'll be, since I'm letting you giving you so much freedom to use any language. It means I'll have a, if it's a Go, if it isn't in Go, it's pretty easy, all right. But if it's something else, some other language, you mean? Okay, yeah, it'll be a little bit harder. All right. So yeah, so that's others. Could be some other port. Doesn't have to be. No, could be non-standard port. All right. So those are things. Right. All right. Now let's see. Date is 21st of April. Right. So you have plenty of time. Okay. So Docker is not so bad. It's not really that hard. All right. All right. So let's see here. What happened? Why didn't I thought I just edited this on it. Oh, what's up with this? No. Did I really? I thought I did. What happened here? Core bonus features Docker. It's the others. These are. You have to do this, I guess. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. So okay. So let's just do a little bit more, explore this a little bit more. Now we'll be doing this sort of like I will put this all in the code space in the notebook, so we have actually some record of what we did today. All right. Otherwise, lose all the cool stuff. Right here. And we'll finish in a moment. So I'll let you guys go early today again. So I know you want to go lunch. So let's see, where's my container now? Oh, there we go. No, Docker Compose. No, where's my course, and where is it backend? Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. So we have our backend roadmap, right? On. So first of all, some definitions, right? Okay. Definitions. Backend development definition. Backend development is server side. Everything that communicates between database and the browser. Potentially, database is some store of persistence. Store of persistence, right? Some sort of, or could be, some store of persistence. Again, why is not my open menu? Yeah. I should be saying this. It's not okay. Yeah, it's not. I have to do it myself, I guess. Yeah. Backend developers, we create the logic and database interactions that power the front end of the website. Right. Again, of course, this could be, right. These interactions could be right. So, all right. So, all right. On many others. Right. All right. So let's go to the language. So again, I'll put some languages in here. All right. Backend languages. So we'll do JavaScript. So through using Node, right? That's right. Offers, yeah, on a server side, right? So again, because again, this is why is this popular? It's popular. It's popular because it allows developers to leverage, right? So I personally don't like, what I don't like about this personally, like this is my personal opinion, I don't like using JavaScript as a server language because it gets really tricky to know. Sometimes quickly you have the JavaScript, the front end stuff, right? And then you say, okay, am I doing front end and back end at this moment, right? Obviously you can check by it, but because of course front end you have different, you have the DOM API, you have different things, right? But the back end JavaScript, I personally not a big fan. But of course the big advantage is of course you have native JSON. You get as a bonus you get native JSON support, right? Yeah. Right. Okay. Now Python, of course, right? And so again, Flask. If you are doing API heavy development, right? Python has some other libraries. Has some great libraries. Request or Flask RESTful, right? And there's also quick, easy, fast API. Fast API. I think it's called Fast API. Let me double check. It's kind of cool. Python, I think it's called Fast API. I think it's called, yeah, this one here. Fast API. Yeah, this one here. Right. I'll provide some links as well. Fast API. All right. So links, like links to Node. Come on, I want some resource. Yeah. All right. So yeah, Ruby. I don't know any Ruby. Right. It's simplicity. Right. And of course you have a PHP. Right. And they have Java, of course, right? Alternative, Kotlin, right? Well, C#, right? And also Go, right? We get the Go. We have Go, right? And Rust, yes, sometimes for high performance, right? Well, there's Elixir, right? Kotlin, right? So I would say Kotlin would be a good idea. Of course, no Dart possibility. Swift, you could theoretically do it, but I don't know. I'm gonna probably take it off, right? That's not a major one. You want to do it, right? So of course you can do pretty much theoretically, yeah. So right. So let me do maybe this separately. Some sources, right? So Ruby resources, links to Ruby, yeah. Of course, PHP is the dominant. So kind of thing is, again, I don't know how many of you have done PHP work. Any? No. Good. It's actually kind of funny. It's like 80% of websites are actually running PHP, right? And why is that? Because, well, two reasons, right? Because Facebook and, of course, WordPress, right? The both PHP, right? So maybe not 80, maybe it's a huge number. At least I think roughly about half, maybe roughly I think 40 something. But anyways, it's a so it's a huge field. So it's a field by itself. And PHP is not as bad as it used to be like 10, 15 years ago. It used to be a horrible language. I mean, because why? It's just basically a bunch of scripts put together basically, right? From late 90s, right? So it had like 6 different ways of doing things, sometimes insecurely, right? But the thing is, you can get stuff done, right? If you want to if you want to make Facebook in 2004, this was a good choice. Because what alternative do you have? You could do Python at then, maybe, right? Or you could do Perl, right? But PHP much quicker development speed, easier to get started, right? You don't have to be a complete, a really real genius to get use it actually, right? And the best part about PHP is that you get really quick results, right? It's the workflow of working with PHP is you do something and you see the results. Because PHP, the way PHP serves pages is sort of like single state. It doesn't have a running, but it means you make a request to a PHP page, and you actually get the results back. Basically, it's like a script, basically, right? Not like a application when we run it. It keeps running, right? So of course, it utilizes databases, right, to get the persistence, right? There's some tricks. These days, PHP is just like any other language, right? Some good sources, links to PHP resources, right? Okay, and yeah. So TypeScript, of course, right? All right. So you get some links there, right? So links to some Python resources, Python, not like those, no Python. So web framework resources, right? Django, Flask, right? Fast API, right? These are pretty good resources, right? So let's double check if all these are live, right? Yeah. Right. So again, frameworks, right? So again, we use frameworks. Reason for using web frameworks with some language. Let me change the code. Let me see if they have what they have. Do we have a meeting or no? Okay, yeah, all right. Now, so why use frameworks? Structure, right? Building functionality, authentication, large community, right? The things I mentioned before, large number of tutorials, right? So, again, best practice and conventions, right? Same thing. And that's it. That's enough, right? So again, so choose those when you are choosing your right, often, right? So these are all considerations you have to do when you're choosing a framework, right? So let me mention this again. So PHP, right? PHP, where's my PHP code, right? Laravel. Really good. Okay. Right. So choose what? All right. Yeah. All right. Now that's enough. Now let's go to the next thing. All right. So database. So data storage again. So eventually again. So storage database. Right. Right. We or web server will want to handle data and we'll need to store it, right? So we have a SQL relational databases, right? Typically we store, right? So of course we saw this, right, as we saw earlier, as we discussed earlier in our class, in our course, right? So no SQL database basis, of course, right? Alternative be alternative to NoSQL would be right. Redis, Cassandra, and of course right. Neo for J, right? I'll mention vector databases. All right. Pinecone, right? Pinecone was used to be. I know it's used to be. VV8. Oh, it's second choice. All right. So AI knows your VV8. Yeah. All right. Chrome. I don't know this one. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Yeah. We could store our data in text files, but yeah. Possible. Often web framework. Yeah, right. So ORMs, right? So popular RMs, right? All right. So I want to talk about also the structuring of your application, right? Architecture. Architecture of web applications, right? Right. There's monolithic architecture. So basic, this is traditional, right? So everything is single code base, right? It's all components deployed together and share the same resource, right? It's easier done actually, right? And the big question is scalability, right? You have multiple machines, right? How are you gonna, this monolithic approach, how are you gonna scale it? And of course, this question is that, well, it says small and medium sized, actually kind of funny. Well, some even big companies, even Google, like there's technically it's a monolith, right? You can have, you can scale also a monolith, right? Microservice, right? This is a sort of like a very popular thing, right? This idea is that each service can use different programming language, frameworks, making it easier to choose the best tools for each service, right? Yes, but downside, right? I'll do a serverless architecture, right? Which is not technically serverless, right? So you have the functions, right? The cloud provider, right? Does all. It's not technically. It is not technically. Technically, there is still a server, right? But right, yeah. All right. Event-driven architecture, all right. So what I want, so I want to mention this video on microservices. This is one of my favorite videos. You may have seen this, right? Let me go to YouTube on microservices. Microservices, services, right? Very famous video. Yeah, this one here. Very funny or sad. Oops. Yeah, I will link the link here, and let me add shareable link. Maybe I can do embed this, right? So downside of microservices. Right, doesn't mention anything. It says, it thinks, oh, it's all plus. No, it's not all shiny thing. No, is that? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Watch me. Yeah. All right. Microservices. Yeah. Right. Now, right. So serverless architecture, right? So now, right. Oftentimes, right? Of course, oftentimes API development, API development. Yeah. So again, so we can use different protocols, of course, right? And we can use different things, of course. So, all right. And finally, what do we want? What do we want? Right. Let me see. Also add DevOps, right? Excuse me. Let me add DevOps. Well, again, I don't want to write Python code. Of course, I guess we could make a let's see if we can make a simple Flask server quickly. All right, let's do a quick server since we have some Python. I think we have Flask. We have Flask. Quick list. All right. I don't think I have it here. Maybe I do. All right. Right. Simple Flask server. Right. All right. So let's make a let me install Flask. All right. So let's code up a simple not neural network example of Flask server that serves three endpoints, right? All right. Try. Except import error or print. Yeah, so this will stop, right? Well, import OS, import JSON, import logging, import time. We don't need all this stuff actually. That's going to adding too much stuff from Flask. We don't need all this adding too much stuff actually. Right, let's do this. It's going to do too much. Render template. We don't want all of this. No, simple. No, this is too much. We don't need all of this, right? Let's code up. We want, okay, so 3 simple endpoints. We want to serve default. Hello and goodbye, right? Hello user name and hello name age. All right, so simple stuff like that. All right, okay. We want to display custom greeting into hello. Okay, let's take a look now. See, now it should be working. So ask Flask name, and it's as simple as this. It's so super simple, right? And you have a server, right? So the last thing, of course, here, right? Right, int age. We don't really want to, yeah, and we don't need more. We don't need any more actually, right? This is enough already, right? And then we just need to run it, right? And this is basically run app, right? And we start. We don't have, of course, this would be run in your main application. So simple Flask. That's why it's Flask so simple, right? So, and we could just run it here, right? I think it's run. If I remember correctly. Now we want to run the server. And we can do it even from a notebook. Of course, usually this would not be through notebook. I think it's appran. I think it's appran. If I remember correctly. Come on, I think it's appran. And AI is asleep. All right. I need to look up documentation. I forget now. I think it's appran. Right here. Yeah, appran, debug true. Right. Okay. And so, of course, this would be the normal thing, but I'll do it here directly. All right. I'll do it here directly. Yeah. Okay. We'll take a look. Now, so I'll run it. It's not going to run because, of course, right, Flask is not installed. So I need to, of course, install Flask. No big deal. You can install here. Click install. Install Flask. Very quick, right? And we have our server. Should be running it. Yeah, we have deployment server. Of course, if I click locally, it's not going to work, right? So, let's see. Warning, development server. There is some sockets, right? Exception, right? Because oh, there is next. Oh, the other is already in use. I try to bind to some server because I'm running, of course, on code spaces, right? So, and maybe some ports are taken, right? So maybe we want to do something else, right? So it didn't work, right? Because there's no server here, right? Yeah. Oh, actually, maybe you could actually. Right. Actually, you can forward port, right? Oh, yeah. So that one didn't work, but technically it could be. Let's see if we made any mistake here, right? So server. We're starting with stat. Address already used. Somebody's using this port, right? Aha. So we will have to check, but of course, because again, this code space. You could probably even do this actually. You could do it here actually. Be interesting to do. Try running on different server. Let's try a different port. Maybe this forwarding maybe doesn't work, right? Maybe let's do this. Maybe debugging. Let's run the app without debugging. Yeah. So debug false. Let's see if this works. Okay, it might work now. Yeah, it works. Super. So this is how you could deploy it actually, right? So it works. There's nice forwarding, quick and easy, right? And now if I go name, I think it was. Let me see my endpoints. Right? See my endpoints. I forget now. Yeah, name. Yeah, name. Hello. Okay, hello. Yeah. So where's my server? So I can do name. Valdis, right? Oops, that didn't work. Or oh, it's hello. Hello. It was hello. Right. Hello. Valdis, right? So hello Valdis, obviously, and hello, RBS, and it works, right? So again, the whole idea is that this address does not exist, right? It's dynamically created, basically, right? Of course, here we do not have the web. We don't have any data storage. But just imagine here, right? In this case, right? Here, right? Here. Oh, sorry. Here. You could query a database, right, or do some other processing. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. You have a dynamic. You have the user supplied info, right, and you can return the response, right. So let's check our JSON API as well, right. So hello, what is it? RBS. Age is how much RBS? 35 years, right. Right. It should work, right. So it's pretty print. It gives you a nice JSON in this case, right. Very simple, right. So Flask is fantastic, I think, again, if you like Python. But of course, the issue with Flask is that you don't have a full-blown framework. It's a micro framework, right? So it gets you very started very quickly, right? But compared to heavy frameworks like Django or Laravel or I think in Java-based frameworks, right? It does not do much extra things. You have to install other libraries, for example, for database management. Either you write your own queries manually, or you use some external library to do it for you, right? So Flask only handles this low-level stuff, which is nice, right? But you might need to do a little extra work to do to make a CRUD application. It's not so hard, actually, but pretty. The beauty is because you get the results so quickly, you can iterate. You can iterate very quickly, right? With some of the heavier frameworks, you do everything, and then something breaks, and you have to debug things, right? So. But yeah, so I will not be upset if you use Flask, right? But you don't have to, of course, right? So I would like to see also other servers too. So yeah, it's cool thing is that this actually works, right? The only thing is, I guess, if you want to debugging, the port for debugging is 9002 and it's taken by something else, you have to do some debugging. Debugging for debugging, right? So, okay, so this example of a working web server, quick and dirty, but pretty nice, right? So let's click this, yeah, so it works, and so, and of course, Control, I'll stop the, I think I have to start, I guess, or Control C, no, it doesn't want work, because of course, again, you're not supposed to use notebook for this, right? You use the actual server, you know, you run as a script, of course, right? So I guess I have to stop it. How do I stop it? I guess I have to stop it here. Interrupt. Yeah, I'll do interrupt. Yeah, it should work. Yep, okay. All right. Okay, guys, you probably want to go for lunch, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I eagerly await your servers, right? Yeah, in a couple of weeks, right?